Thank you very much for joining, everybody. All right, let me pull up. Belle is starved for attention. You know, I have the sweetest dog. When she gets sick, she's very good about letting me know when she needs to go out. But the main thing, when she doesn't feel well, she just gets super cuddly. So it's like, you know, I feel like I have she just wants to be loved. So pretty fortunate. All right, go to bed, baby. Go to bed. Good girl. All right, if you want to go ahead and get started, Lacey, whenever you're ready, we'll fire up this workout and get going. So just going to start kind of swinging our arms, a little walk in place until we get some music going. I like to get our arms nice and warmed up. Just get that blood pumping. All right. A little more fast-paced today. I like to keep changing it up, so hopefully you guys don't mind. Playlist came out to 45 minutes and 1 second, so try to keep moving through all the music. Oh, we'll get some water for sure. I am really dreading winter. Gotta change my attitude. I remember right before, I worked outside. I did construction before my injury. And I had this whole thing right before I had my accident. I call it waging war on winter. And I was just trying to figure out the best, winter gear that I could wear while I was working outside, just to, because I had no desire to work inside. So it's like, how are we going to be comfortable out here? And I was, a lot of the guys at therapy, the young techs and stuff, they love the Carhartt gear. And I make fun of them because when I worked construction, and no offense if anybody likes the Carhartt gear, I hated Carhartt, and I still hate it. It's bulky, it's heavy, and it's just as expensive as ski gear. If you wear ski gear, you can move, you stay warmer. Like, I liked the mountain, technical wear as opposed to the Carhartt stuff. And the construction guys made fun of me, but man, trying to lean over in those big Carhartt overalls, my knees would hurt trying to fight those, bending over and every movement. So I know it's good, high quality stuff, but if you have to really move, I do not prefer it. Agreed. All right, from these arm swings, let's try to get some punches going and try to twist that core. Nothing too strenuous. We're warming up here. I think the Rough Riders was like a motorcycle game, but I feel like Rough Riders, that could be a wheelchair game. There was a guy I met in Minnesota when I was at the conference, and his wife is like a videographer, and they make videos and stuff. But they made this whole video about a biker gang it was all guys in wheelchairs, and some of them had the attachable things that went on the front of their manual chairs, and some guys were in power chairs. But it was this whole just little short video about this crew of biker gang guys that were all in wheelchairs, and it was at the end of it shows them all just drinking, and they were acting, but they were just pretending just to be a biker gang and get drunk and fight, and it was just, they did the whole thing. It was pretty entertaining. All right, let's shake that out. Let's take this right arm, reach across. All right. This has been one of my workout songs for years. Switch. Eminem, Till I Collapse. And you know, I'd shake that out. Let's go back to some punches. I think that's something that I really struggle with. You know, when I wear my heart rate monitor and I'm checking my exercise, it doesn't matter if I'm, you know, killing myself on my hand cycle. Like, I really have trouble pushing my heart rate into like zones 3 and 4. And you know, it's directly because of my spinal cord injury, but those just, I don't know. That's one of the things that, like, I hate that. Like, that's like hard evidence of what I'm dealing with, you know? And it's like, why can't I push my heart into zone 4? Like, I feel like I'm dying. Why doesn't it go where, you know, but it's just one of those things. So when I do marathon training, a lot of like the advice that people give, you know, able-bodied people, is all about pushing your heart rate. You measure your heart rate, and that's how you push your exertion, and that's how you really build your endurance. And I'm a person who I like data. You know, I like to look at the numbers. If I work out, I want to see numbers of like hard data. What did I do? And then I want to try to repeat that and do more. I don't know. And if I would just focus on working instead of trying to look at the numbers, I'd probably get a lot more done. But I just like to, it's motivating for me to be able to look at the numbers. All right. Let's lean down and let's touch those toes. Let's try to stretch that lower back. All right, just really exhale. Try to breathe deep. That's something I really struggle with, is my breath. You know, I always want to hold my breath when I'm doing things, and I need to really work on breathing deeply. Exhaling, filling my lungs fully. All right, and as we come up here, come up slowly. Make sure you don't get lightheaded. All right, if you got water, let's get a drink of water before we get into some more workout here. Oh, all right. All right. Let's start right in with some core. So let's bring that chest down to our legs. Back up and challenging yourself however is appropriate for you. Trying to get, and my movement is jerky at first. You know, I got to kind of work through some muscle tightness till my body lets me do a lot of things, so I'm really slow to get going. But we're all doing this or a variation of this that works for us at our own pace. And as you're coming down, try to really stretch down with those arms and then retract those shoulder blades when you're coming up. Really focusing on this end range here, because that's going to lead us into the next exercise. So finishing strong, setting those shoulder blades down and back. All right, now we're going to stay upright. And from this down set position, we're going to push up and then back down. Keep it up. Excuse my French, but this song, These Are the Breaks, it's just kind of like shit happens. I've always liked that. All right, now let's go one at a time, but let's pick the pace up. All right, left arm down and then up. So reaching across down to the right and then back up to the left. Keep pushing it. All right, switch. Right arm down to the left and then back up to the right. All right, shake that out. All right, now I want you to try to take your shoulders and bring them all the way down as low as you can. So we're taking our shoulders as far away from our ears as we can. And then very slowly and gently, we're gonna do some neck rolls. Always very slow. You know, I always use my, mouth to grab stuff. And the other day, I went down like this to grab something with my mouth. And when I went to pick it up, I just pulled something, strained it right back here in my neck. And that's just so frustrating because my mouth is really like my favorite hand. And then I have these two BS hands that I kind of nudge stuff around with. So my neck being down is like having my favorite shoulder pulled. All right, let's switch directions of that rotation. Yeah, I had a dentist for years. They kept telling me, you keep messing up the bonding. You gotta find a different way to do things. And then I finally, Karen Babcock here in Louisville, I freaking love her, and she's like, no, we have to figure out how to make the bonding last. Like that's how you do things. I was like, yes. That's the doctor I need, So, all right. Let's shake that out. And then we're going to twist to the right. So get your arms up a little bit. I do so I clear everything on my chair. And, I need to twist my arms a little bit to help myself get to the right. So it's like that motion, like you're looking behind you to back up the vehicle, but we're really trying to use our core to twist. I really try to think about maintaining this flexibility here. Everybody talks about, the old people that when they back up their car, they're just like, you know what, I'm old and I'm coming back. They've lost that flexibility. So let's switch to the left, but I always try to think about keeping that flexibility. I'm already so stiff, I can't lose much more. All right, let's switch to punches. Yeah, I think that's what it sounds simple, but you really got to think about that. Like the more you do, the more you can do. And I think lots of people experience that, and it doesn't mean it's not hard, and you might be out of energy and not want to do it, but you got to know when to give yourself a break. We all have to know when to stop and give ourselves a break. But I think when you find that way to really push yourself every day, like I think that's what you're experiencing right now. That's when you're seeing gains across the board. And I also think there's seasons in life. There's times when you need to push yourself, and there's times when you need to let yourself heal and rest, and you just have to kind of assess where you're at. You have to set some goals and what do you need to focus on. And that's really what it's all about, is you're never going to know where you're going if you don't know where you're at. And so you just have to assess where you're at, get a plan, and then stick to the plan. All right, let's switch to curls. My dad was always really big on that. Growing up, we always had to have goals. So I think that is important. I think I need to be better. But I think I need to set dates on my goals. I always have goals, but sometimes they're just kind of floating, and I need to be more intentional about it. It's sometimes when something's been forced on you your whole life, you get a little lazy with it. And I'm just kind of realizing that right now. Like, I'm good about having my goals, and I am making progress, but I need to reset some goals, and I need to set some deadlines. All right, arms up. Let's go back to some twisting. Let's twist to the left, starting this time. What Belle's trying to let me know right now is she thinks her food is late. Her thing goes off at 5:30 every day, and she is not adjusted to daylight savings. Yeah. That, or maybe she's just eager, but she's telling me she wants her food. Let's switch to the right. And then we're going to go right into some chest down, back up. I recently replaced her automatic feeder that we've had for years. The motor quit working. So I had to replace her feeder, and I really love having an automatic feeder. Everything I think about is, one, does it do something that I can't do, or does it do something better than I can do it? Or two, will it save my wife time? And not just my wife, my caregiver or whoever's helping me. Will it save somebody time? And I love my dog feeder. It holds almost 2 weeks worth of food, and then it automatically goes off. I can divvy her out snacks whenever I want. I have her water bowl that I can fill myself, and it lets me know when it's getting low. So no, we live in an apartment, and that is my wife's, the bane of her existence is, Belle is my responsibility, but I do take sleeping meds, and it's tough for me to get into bed at night. So if the dog gets sick, Belle will take her in the middle of the night. That's when it's Hannah's responsibility, and she really wants a house. So let's go back to some punches. I keep an eye on things. We need to buy, and we need to stop renting. I don't know. A house is a lot of maintenance. I've been a homeowner, and I'm not doing any of the maintenance. I'm not getting up on the roof, and living in an apartment right now where we don't do any of the maintenance. My wife doesn't have any free time, so I don't know. Maybe there'll be a little condo or something we can buy, and maybe we'll end up going with a house. But I don't know, that seems like a very daunting task to me when I think about everything that I used to do to maintain my house, and I'm not going to do 99% of that now. Yeah. They do make some cool robots that'll mow your grass, but I don't know if that's going to make up for everything that I... All right, let's work the core left to right. Belle sheds a ton, black and white hair all over the place. And, she'll come next to me and shake off, and there's like a pile of hair underneath her. But we have a robot vacuum, and I love that thing. And one of their new ones just went on sale, an early Black Friday sale, like 30% off. So we got the new one that we've been wanting. It should come at the end of the week. But that thing, Hannah has a vacuum that occasionally, if she brushes Belle or there's a spot that she wants to, but during the week, she usually doesn't have to do any of the floors, and that's just something, she's working a full-time job and she does all my care. So she does all of Belle's care. All right, let's go curls up to press. I don't know, you guys found any cool gadgets that help ease the workload around your house? Yeah. So there is this guy, Mark Fugelin. His company is called Abilities, and Ability Ease. But he makes all sorts of adaptive equipment with his 3D printer for people like us. And he's got adapters for vacuums that slide on your forearm so you can vacuum. Yeah. And, it's really cool, but for me, I could use the vacuum and I can get around the house. It's just not practical, no matter which way you slice it. And the robot is something that makes sense. So let's go to some punches. Right. Are you going to push, lock, and then back? It just... Yeah, I don't know. So, I've seen videos of people that do it. And I understand that there's ways to do everything, but also I think an important lesson that my dad taught me, that when he was a painter, if how he decided if he was going to do a task was he had to be able to if he made $20 an hour, then he had to be able to save that, or he was just going to work and then pay somebody to do it, and I think that's kind of a smart mentality where if it's something you're not good at and it's outside of your skill set, why don't you go work extra hours and then pay the professional to do that? So, all right, let's go back to some core. Let's bring that chest down and pop it back up. But that's how I feel about my robots, yes, technically, I can vacuum. I can get that done. But is that where I want to spend 90 minutes every day? Or do I want a robot to go take care of that while I'm at work, and then when I get home, I can do something more meaningful? And I really feel like that is the one thing that I can't avoid that, kind of paralysis has taken from me. And that is, it has taken time from me every day. This being injured like I am takes extra time, and there's extra things I have to do, and the main thing that I have lost with this injury is time out of my daily schedule. And so if there's anything that I can purchase that gives me time back, I'm going to save up and try to purchase that thing. So let's get some punching going. Yeah, that's something that, I'd always hear these old guys saying, no matter how much money you have, you can't buy time, and that's something to really think about, how precious time is. Yes, I agree wholeheartedly. And I do try to, as cheesy it is, I try to enjoy it. I try to enjoy, the solstice in the time consuming, you can kind of get little zen moments. There's times where I might drop something and I'm leaning my chair back again and it feels like it's taking forever. You just try to close your eyes and you breathe and we're gonna figure this puzzle out. And I don't know. I've always been the person that as messed up as it sounds, I liked it in a weird way, like when a girl would break up with me, because you don't know you're alive until you feel that pain. And it's along that same line, not that, I didn't want it to end, but you really feel, I do, if you're heartbroken and something has crushed you, you're alive. You're alive if you're feeling that. And there's a certain, not that I want those moments, but I do find little rays of sunshine in those moments. So, I don't know. Let's go back to some side leans. Just focusing on the left. Yeah, even if it's just extreme sadness, you try to just enjoy the human experience, it's kind of crazy that something could make you feel that much based solely on emotion, and I don't know, I just try to experience that, and it's an experience, even when it's bad. The same kind of thing when my mom died, the worst thing that's ever happened, but there was a weird feeling of how can you hurt this much? You have to be alive to hurt that much. It's weird. I don't know. And let's switch to the right. All right, now let's work that core forwards. One thing I do get worried about is here lately, especially when I do drop things. I was just talking about trying to enjoy the solstice. Lately, I've really noticed myself getting more frustrated when those things happen. I'll scream a cuss word if I'm by myself, and I'm just really. I think I was injured at the end of 2011, and I think on a certain level I'm a little fed up with being paralyzed right now, and that's something that I have to figure out and get over. But I think recognizing it is part of that process. Oh. All right, let's punch up. But yeah, I find myself just, when the little things happen related to my injury here lately, yeah, I'm having little outbursts, and even if I don't have outbursts, the things that are going on in my head, I'm just really frustrated with being paralyzed right now. But it's probably related to, I'm starting to work and there's growing pains there, for example, I brought in a whole bunch of coffee pods and hot chocolate pods, but I can't get to the Keurig and I don't want to ask anybody. So there's weird things like that adjusting to work. They're everybody's super nice. They would be more than willing to help me, but there's things like that where I get in my head and I don't want to ask for help, and yeah. All right, now let's throw those elbows back. Yes, trying to set that shoulder blade down. That's where I feel it, setting that. And a lot of what I do, just trying to train my shoulders to go down because I carry so much tension. I'm always guarded like this. So just trying to stretch that down. Fight that. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Right. No, I feel like I'm a pageant coach when I talk to myself, you know? It's like, get back, head up straight, chin down, like. Let's get some water. Yeah. Elbow, elbow, wrist, wrist. Yeah. Whew. Are you using any other strategies to get your hands straightened out, or is it just being more aware of how you're doing things? Right. All right. Let's try to roll our hands here. No, go ahead. I'm sorry to interrupt you. And then you're going to try to bring this up as high as you can. Oh, and then I spaz out. But no, I totally feel like, you know, that's like a lot of things with this injury. You know, you can't just, you have to have a plan, and you have to make movements 5-6 steps ahead of what you want so you can get accomplished what you need. Agreed. All right, reaching down to the left, reaching down to the right. Yeah, I really like, you know, I took those coffee pods into work because I love our Keurig here, and it's something that I can reach by myself, and I can refill the water thing myself, and I'm just totally independent with the Keurig, and I love that here. And the other day I was making myself, I like to do hot chocolate, and then I have these protein shakes that I love. And so it's like a chocolate milk with hot chocolate. So it's just a big warm glass of chocolate milk, basically. But I spilt it all down the side of the fridge, and you know, it's like, Hannah, I was being super independent. Now I made a ton of work for you, and it's milk, so you're gonna have to clean it. No, that was here at the apartment. Yeah. So I felt so bad. Really stretching down, trying to push that range safely, of course. But I really do, you know, the hot chocolate and the neck warmer have been my two favorite things on the chilly days so far this fall. Yeah, I mean, and that totally makes sense, the warm liquid, but that's just something that I haven't really focused on in the past. And being from a guy who loves desserts and is always cold, hot chocolate's a pretty good solution. All right, let's get that arm out in front of us. Let's do some arm raises. Well, go to bed. Either the neighbor's home or Hannah's home. Really trying to keep that line nice and center. What's that? No. I don't think it's snowed yet this year. Oh, we were up in Minnesota, but the weather was nice. We might have posted some videos that had some snow in it, but we haven't been anywhere in snow recently. Yes, switch, sorry. Bell's barking away over here. Hey, lay down. It's usually very quick. It must be a neighbor coming in and out. All right, it's punching. Oh, that's frustrating. You know, you think, was it just a day, or is it always? Yeah, I was gonna say. Just keep pushing it. Don't have to tell you that, but. All right, let's go down, up in front of us and back up like this. There you go. Just talking about lawnmowers today with my OT. He has an electric mower, and then he's talking about how he wished he had a lawn boy, and it started reminding me of my grandpa's lawn boy. So I always used to go over there and mow his yard. And I just always was so impressed with how well his mower worked. And I grew up thinking that he had a super nice mower, but no, Grandpa just took care of his stuff, and that's why it always worked so well. Switch. Yeah, he changed the spark plug, shut the fuel off, change the filters, sharpen the blades, Yeah. Right. All right, let's point with our elbows here. Let's stretch this up. So no, just you're taking your elbows from straight out and then just trying to get them as high as you can. I don't want you hiking your shoulders. Let's just try to pivot and bring those elbows straight up. Yeah, and that's where we're all, wherever we get to, and then we're working it. Well, I don't move my legs like you do, so. But yeah, this is where I have a lot of pain at night and stuff. It'll actually wake me up and keep me up. I get muscles that lock up, and this stretches that. This is good for me. This is recommended by my OT. So I'm at a really good. That what? Yeah, I don't, like my sensory line is right about here. It's just above my nipple line, so I don't feel much down there. But I'm at a really good place with my OT. I really trust him, and I really respect him, and so and it's not that I follow him blindly, but his name's Tudor, and I trust him, and that's where you have to be with your therapist at some point, I feel like. But it's good. It's good. It's a good place to be. You know, we have good conversations about my therapy. He listens to what I have to say, and then he asks what I want to do. You know, and it's a collaboration, and that's what I need out of a therapist. I need them to value my opinion and want to know my experience, not just tell me. All right, let's shake that out, and then let's work that chest down to our knees. Working that core some more. Spasm. Man. My body is trying to say no to this exercise. And that is something that I do more. You know, I used to, when I'd have a spasm, I would try to stop it immediately. Now I just try to make sure I'm in a spot where I'm safe, but then I just try to ride it out. It's like, all right, you want to kick? Let's just kick this out. Let's get this out of our system. I don't know, and I don't know that there's any benefit one way or the other. I haven't really noticed a big difference, but I feel like my body's telling me it wants to kick, so. Have at it, body. Have at it. All right. Now let's stretch down to touch those toes and back up to a press. Building on this. Man, we're getting through this workout today. I'm just chatting away. I hope that's okay. Yeah. Yeah, I'm really kind of surprised I didn't sleep well last night, and you know, they don't really know the direct correlation. I know it's something to do with barometric pressure, but my OT was telling me today they don't know all the causes of the weather and why so many patients report similar symptoms. I don't know. It just seems like we have too much technology at our hands for that to just be a mystery right now. You know, not to get too deep in the weeds, but I think about that a lot. If you think about like the entire range of temperatures that stuff gets to, and like I'm comfortable in this like 3-degree little band, but even beyond that, like where life exists is in such a narrow, or where the way we understand it right now. But it's just such this little window of temperature range that allows everything that we know to happen. It just kind of blows my mind. And like, how finicky are we that, like, you know, if it was much colder, it never would have happened here. And if it was much hotter, it never would have happened here. It's just, sometimes I think, not to get too philosophical or anything here, but sometimes I don't know what to believe in the grand scheme of things. I'm still trying to figure it out for myself. But sometimes I feel the more you understand science, the more that just proves it. There has to be a greater power sometimes. It's like, I don't know. Yeah. I have no idea what's going on, but it just, it doesn't make sense to me. Looking out over this world and all of the life and it does not make sense to me. It's amazing. I love it, but I just can't make sense of it. Let's go punching. But I do feel like something's watching us. Like, why would we be so isolated away from everything? Like, they just want us to stay here, and they're watching us. They're gonna come at me with a straitjacket if I keep talking like this. All right, let's lean down to the left, side bends. Sometimes maybe being in a wheelchair, I have too much time to sit around and think. Switch to the right. Hey, then keep doing that. All right, shake that out. Thank you very much for joining, everybody. Appreciate you putting up with the chatter out of me and the different music, and we'll change it up next week.